Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to do something a little bit familiar today. We're going to start to lean a little bit more heavily into storytelling itself as a channel. And to start that out, we have another 1,000-word story for you. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. We kind of went and did some other things for a little bit, but that's okay. That's where we come back to things. This is going to be a series that I'm going to try and keep up, I hope. I guess we'll see, though. I say a lot of things. So, this one is titled There's something so elegant about dust. It sits on any given surface for years and years until something comes around and to muck it up. When something finally does, it floats in the air as if it doesn't know gravity exists. It levitates in empty space like a fish in water. Those suspended particles are the only thing Kimmy can see when she first opens her grandparents' barn door. A cloud of Newton-defying dirt. Behind the plume of random material, she only sees the sun reflecting off the chrome bumper of an old car her grandma had mentioned one day. She wasn't supposed to be messing around in the barn, but her curiosity got the better of her. She makes her way through the cloud of dust and gently runs her fingers down the hood as she makes her way to the driver's side door. She tries to open the door, but it's locked. She gently takes her hand and wipes away the aforementioned sitting dirt covering the window. When it's mostly clear, she peers in and sees a wooden steering wheel with two crossed flags in the middle. She stares at it for a second before moving to the back of the machine. She tries to look in the split-back window, but it again is covered in a thick layer of history. Hoping to get a better look at everything, she searches around the barn, hoping to find a key. She moves all over the barn, looking in every box and drawer that could contain what she was looking for. The barn is hot, about 95 degrees, and she's getting extremely sweaty and gross. She goes to take a break and sits on the hood of the car. In a moment of intense fear, the hood buckles under her weight. She quickly jumps off and examines it. To her surprise, the hood wasn't bent, but rather propped. She stares at it for a second before attempting to reach her fingers in the crack and release the hood latch. She finally finds it and the hood lifts right up. The first thing she sees is the perfectly preserved engine, and the second thing she sees is a bulging envelope that's wedged into one of the hood vents. She grabs the package and opens it. Inside, she finds a small pair of silver keys and a note that simply reads, "Be careful." She pocketed the note, tossed the envelope away, and slammed the hood a bit too loudly. With the silver pieces in her hand, she makes her way to the door. She slowly slips the key in the lock, and it turns. There's a slight click, and she pulls on the handle, opening the door and revealing an interior that was in near mint condition, aside from the layers of history that has collected on top of it. Inside, she's met with a mountain of 50-year-old dirt, but it doesn't bother her. She slides in and the old leather creaks under her weight. She looks around, but lands her eyes on the steering wheel. More specifically, she looks at the hazy emblem in the center. She briefly takes her thumb and wipes away the dust. After her thumb slides past the image, two crossed flags glint in her eye. She finally decides to try and start it, and she slips the keys in the ignition and turns it. Nothing. She lets out a disappointing sigh and relaxes. She looks around the interior and focuses on a picture of a 30-ish-year-old man in this car. Smiling. She studies it for a moment before peering through the windshield again. When she does, she sees her grandmother standing in the doorway, staring at her. She quickly opens the door and gets out. "Sorry, Mama, I was just, curious," she said. "Don't be sorry. What? Without curiosity, this thing couldn't exist." "I'm a bit disappointed, though," said the grandmother. "Why?" asked Kimmy. "Did you really think a 50-year-old battery would hold a charge?" asked the grandmother. They both chuckle, knowing it was silly to assume so. "Was this Grandpa's car?" asked Kimmy. "It was. He loved this car more than anything else. Well, almost anything," she says with a wink to Kimmy. "He always wanted to take it out to the track in town, but he never got around to it," said the grandmother. "Why not?" asked Kimmy. "Oh, for a number of reasons. For one, it was expensive, very expensive, and after he got this car, we fell into a bit of financial trouble. He was also working so much that he didn't have time to go out, not even on a weekend," she said. They both stare at the car for a moment, both knowing it wouldn't look like this if he was still around. Well, asked the grandmother. Well, what? Wondered Kimmy. Do you want to go for a ride? She says as she grabs a fresh battery so that Kimmy could see. Kimmy looks at her grandmother with eyes that perfectly say, yes. Flashing forward, we see a single sunflower sitting at the edge of pavement and an open field. It looks to be at peace as a single speck of dust falls on the flower and rests there for a moment. Then, in an instant, the blur of a now clean C2 flies across our eyes, the sunflower bending all the way over from the wind of the car flying past it at an astonishing 120 miles per hour. We see a black and white checkered flag wave, and the booming voice of the announcer proclaims, "And the winner of the 54th Annual Bathurst 1000 is Kimmy Brown in her custom 1964 Corvette." This car was made to win this race, with Kimmy in the driver's seat, but it had to wait 50 years to do it. That's it. That is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Really, truly. It took me a little bit to write, just because I wanted to put a little bit more detail in it. But yeah, I will be back at it with another one that is going to be a lot like this in just probably a week. So stick around. Check it out. Thanks.